What up, YouTube? I look horrible. I picked at a whitehead on the side of my face, and it's pretty bad. But look at my cute little cherub pajama set. I just got done watching Vangelina Skov's video uploaded 12 hours ago. I wanted to hop on and say a few thoughts and try to keep everything cohesive. She had beer for the video. I have caffeinated water because it's going to be a bumpy ride. I fell down a rabbit hole of looking back into Dissociadid and questioning a lot of things, given substantial evidence and a little bit of my own research, a little bit of watching old videos, a little bit of watching commentary, and just kind of like some not so good feelings about stuff that was going on. So basically what I have like 3 different opinions here that I want to present. If you haven't watched Vangelina Skov's video about Dissociated leaving YouTube with Grandad's Lounge being involved, please go watch it because she's very cohesive and very comprehensive in her videos. And if you're into that sort of thing and knowing what's up with some of your favorite or former favorite YouTubers, you can go check her out because she's very good. She does her research and she's very cohesive and just her videos flow well. Her hair is great. Go watch her. If you hear my cat, it's because she's obnoxious and she's not used to me being up here during the day. But I want to touch on the first point, which is some of the context of Grandad's Lounge video. Now, I would say Grandad's Lounge, the videos that I saw surfacing after I had begun watching Dissociated's content, they were very somehow entertaining and heavily opinionated, but I would say that he, like all other creators, has a right to create content that he wants to create with his opinions and his voice in them. And if you don't like them, you don't have to watch them. That's, just people don't have to watch Jeffree Star. People don't have to watch Shane Dawson. People don't have to watch Tana Mojo. Do they all have opinions about these creators? Absolutely. But do you need to watch Grandad's Lounge videos? No. His videos about Dissociated, I remember there was being at least one of them that I remember that was quite lengthy, actually, and it featured commentary on Dissociated, Team Pinata, and the dynamic in their videos before everything, well, actually, while everything was coming out with Team Pinata, and the dynamic of those videos still being up being very inappropriate. My timeline is a little bit fuzzy on that, but basically, Grandad's Lounge called out the publicity stunt at the time that was Team Pinata and Dissociated. If you can remember, at the time, these guys had a podcast. Team Pinata had a channel. Dissociated had a channel. They were putting their lovey-dovey, potentially triggering stuff into their videos and, saying that they were working through trauma together and stuff. That's all well and good unless you are behind the scenes doing the research that Grandad's Lounge was doing on Team Pinata, which this came to light evidently when Dissociated found out, potentially through the internet, that Team Pinata was essentially a P several letters ILE. So that's the previous experience I have with Grandad's Lounge's video. I don't dislike the guy. I'm not a big fan of the guy, but I don't dislike the guy. I'm like, it's just not my style of commentary. It's very aggressive, very out there, very forward, but not everybody's gonna like every video. Everybody has the right to their opinion. We've already been down this rabbit hole. So basically what happened with the whole copyright strikes thing was that this ties into the video that Vangelina Skov posted, but basically what happened, to my knowledge and from an outside perspective, is Dissociated was offended by the content Grandad's Lounge was creating and felt threatened by the content that Grandad's Lounge was creating, which I find to be interesting because I think Grandad's Lounge was simply creating content to warn people. I don't think that Grandad's Lounge was creating content to, say he was going to go after Dissociated and do something awful, which I think was taken in context. What I do think you walk a thin line with is the pull that you can have as a larger content creator, but also as a content creator that is connected to a larger content creator. I'm going to be real, I would not have watched Grandad's Lounge's videos if they were not tied to Dissociative, because that was my interest at the time. And I think that Grandad's Lounge might not have necessarily known what sort of risk posting content connected to Dissociated was going to pose, because you don't go on the internet wanting to receive death threats. But the thing is, now that his name is connected to Dissociated's name, Dissociate now can manipulate his name into her narrative. So basically, what might or might not be happening, there's 3 different scenarios playing out in my head. The first scenario is that Dissociated is taking what Grandad's Lounge is posting as fair use content and conceptualizing it as abuse and the real potential to cause harm. Now, abuse can take several forms. Abuse can be physical, abuse can be mental, abuse can be emotional. On this side, it would be purely mental, because we have no context or understanding that these people have physical context with each other. The potential to cause harm could be the backlash that Dissociated would be receiving from Grandad's Lounge's fans, which is interesting because there were some things put out there before that Dissociated was being doxxed and their address was leaked and things. So if you can follow a trail, it's highly unlikely but altogether possible that fans of the content that Grandad's Lounge was posting could potentially have had access to her address. The internet is a very dark and scary place, and that is a possibility. However, there is a second possibility that, given Dissociated, and there's speculation around this too, but given Dissociated has this diagnosed mental health condition, dissociative identity disorder, this could be catastrophizing. So basically what could be happening is that they are basically, their mental, defense mechanism is taking this information, compartmentalizing it incorrectly, and processing this as trauma, processing this as abuse, and processing this as something much more than it actually is, which is altogether possible. The third possibility, which I think could be in combination possibly with everything else, or functioning entirely on its own, given that this entire thing could be a fabrication as well. We only see a small snapshot of people's lives on the internet, and this could be entirely false up until this possibility, which I think YouTube is simply no longer lucrative for Dissociated. This could either be through, their channel no longer being monetized, or they're simply not getting enough views on their videos. So they head over to Patreon, they charge certain levels for tiers, they make exclusive content, they still post. I'm not sure how TikTok works as a platform, but they could be making money there that they're simply not making on YouTube. You see a lot of creators go by the wayside and look for different avenues for money, including Patreon and OnlyFans, but they don't have necessarily the time, energy, or frankly devotion to YouTube that they used to, because it's simply not making them as much money as the other platforms. So with that being said, indefinite hiatus seems pretty specific. However, I don't think that it's hard to say whether or not Dissociated will be back, but I think if they come back, they will still have that same support, that same fan base. I don't think their fan base ever left, which makes it interesting that they would just leave YouTube and leave those fans behind. I don't think their Patreon following is altogether huge, and I think they obviously got a lot of their fan base from YouTube to start with, so it seems like to them that platform is entirely disposable. Whether or not this seems to be either A, internalized harm, B, harm coming at them from connections to Grandad's Lounge's fans, however unlikely that might seem to be, or C, not making enough money. So that's just my commentary on Dissociated. If you haven't checked out Vangelina Skov's video, she's great. She's inspired a lot of my videos. She's a wonderful content creator. She's very thorough, very in-depth, very just well put together and thought-provoking stuff. And honestly, she's inspired a lot of my videos on this channel, so I want to thank her and thank her for posting her content, even though she said she's been busy with college and stuff. But we do appreciate you posting, Vangelina Skov, and if you haven't checked out some of my other videos, chronologically they start to go a little bit out of date, and I have some vlogs and stuff in there that don't quite line up with this type of content, but it's pretty disorganized, it's pretty hectic, it's pretty unedited, and frankly I look like this in a lot of the videos. So if you like hearing me ramble about stuff and seeing me with a giant white head on the side of my nose, go ahead and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.